Long ago, before the kingdom of Hyrule existed, the goddesses of creation left behind a divine relic in the care of the goddess Hylia that was known as the Triforce. This was the era of the goddess Hylia, and for a time, there was peace among the goddess and the service tribes of the land, until one fateful day. Underneath the surface, there existed an evil, a malevolent force. How this evil originated is unknown, but they emerged from a fissure in the earth with a powerful force in direct opposition to the goddesses. They waged a war on the goddess Hylia and the surface dwellers, and according to the opening scene in Skyward Sword, the war they waged drove the land into deep despair. The war is described as unmatched in scale and ferocity, the likes of which would never be seen again. This war was the most ferocious and merciless event in Hyrule's history, and it was led by the Demon King Demise. Demise and his tribe of demons and monsters scorched the land and murdered many in the pursuit of the all-powerful relic of the gods, the Triforce. Eventually, Demise was eradicated by the human incarnation of Hylia, Zelda, and her chosen knight, Link, by sealing him into the Master Sword and letting his soul slowly deteriorate over the ages. But what happened to the demon tribe he commanded? It's only probable that some survived and fled to eventually do other nefarious deeds. In several other Zelda games, there are mentions of ancient tribes or clans that have dark and ambiguous origins. The possibility of coming across some of these demons in other Zelda games is not only likely, but highly probable. In fact, in the Zelda Encyclopedia, it states, in some eras, the word demon and monster have been used interchangeably, but in general, demons command and create evil, while monsters do their bidding. I think it's more than possible that some characters, from the mischievous or mysterious side characters we meet, some of the main villains throughout the Zelda series that are more on the demonic side, may be ancient lost remnants of the ancient demon tribe. Maybe some were even generals in the war. The idea that we've come across some of the ancient horrors that existed in an ancient war with the demon army that was led by the first Demon King Demise, who was described as the origin of all evil, who definitely draws parallels to the devil of many real-world religions, certainly is intriguing. It makes some of Link's enemies feel dreadful and mythological. So I made a list of a variety of enemies on all calibers that appear throughout the Zelda series that may have originated from the ancient demon tribe. But first, I'm doing a giveaway for our subscribers, so if you want a chance to get some cool prizes like this, then stick around to the end of the video for more details. But anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe if you love everything Zelda, so you don't miss out on any new Zelda content like this. And back to the video. The horned statue from Breath of the Wild sits right outside Hitseno Village. In that first glimpse, it looks like one of the Hylia statues that can be found scattered all around Hyrule. But up close, you can see there's something sinister about the statue. It wears horns on its head, and instead of rays of light, a black fog surrounds the statue when you speak with it. According to the statue, once upon a time he was a dealer in life and power. And whatever demonic deals he would be involved with did not sit well with the goddess Hylia. There have been theories and speculations about the statue's origins based on familiar situations in past Zelda games, mentioning a mysterious, shady character making Faustian bargains with greedy men, ending in some sort of terrible curse. But I think his origins go back much further. He mentions that his actions didn't sit well with the goddess Hylia, and that she trapped him in the statue long, long ago. I think that this must reference Hylia before she ever reincarnated into a mortal as Zelda in the events of Skyward Sword, so possibly during the era of the goddess Hylia, during the war with Demise. Not only do we ever hear of Hylia fighting or using her magic in some sort of offensive way against demons during that war, but whoever the statue was before he met this terrible fate definitely engaged in some actions that were very demonic in nature. He seems very sly. It reminds me of the many tales of making deals with the devil gone wrong when he speaks. Even the great Deku Tree describes him as a bit wicked. Even if he was just a trickster demon, I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that he's from Demise's demon tribe long ago. The little evidence of his backstory we have actually suggests that long before the land of Hyrule was the kingdom of Hyrule, he was going around with a silver tongue, making appealing bargains which turn out to be very cruel deals that more often than not turn out to have a nasty end. General Onox is the main antagonist of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. He first appears in the beginning of the game, where he attacks Link and a troop of performers to capture Din, the Oracle of Seasons, in an attempt to plunge the land of Holodrum into darkness by imprisoning the Oracle of Seasons and sinking the Temple of Seasons into the underground land of Subrosia, which weakens the guardian of the land, the Maku Tree, and ultimately throws Holodrum's seasons out of sync, creating chaos throughout the land. If you play Oracle of Seasons after completing Oracle of Ages, it is revealed that Onox is part of a much bigger plan, and that Twin Rova was actually orchestrating the whole thing all along in order to resurrect Ganon, and that General Onox is a demon summoned by Twin Rova from the Dark Realm. And although he appears like a unique version of an Iron Knuckle with Gerudo symbols printed on his old armor, during the last phase of the final battle with Onox, he reveals his true self as a demon in the form of a giant dark dragon. His backstory is a mystery, and not much is known except what we know from his appearance during the events of the Oracle of Seasons. But as a demon, it's not too far of a stretch to assume that he's a remnant of Demise's demonic army. He does have the rank of general. Maybe he earned it fighting the war that raged so long ago in the age of Hylia, and maybe he was one of Demise's trusted generals. Bongo Bongo, the phantom shadow beast of the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time, has ancient demon written all over him. You first encounter this entity in Kakariko Village. Sheik is standing in front of the well, when all of a sudden, an invisible force starts manhandling Sheik wildly around in the air, like something out of Paranormal Activity, then attacks Link and departs without a trace, except a giant shadow retreating. There have been plenty of theories surrounding Bongo Bongo, but I simply think he's a remnant of the ancient demons of the demon tribe. His origins are unknown, but it's implied that he existed before Ganondorf's reign, when Sheik mentions that long ago Impa had sealed it beneath the well, so it very well could be ancient. There is a man in Kakariko Village that gives you a hint about the Eye of Truth. There have been theories that the man he speaks of might be Bongo Bongo, because of a vague statement where he states, "A long time ago, there was a man in this very village who had an eye they said could see the truth. Now usually, you have to train your mind's eye most strenuously to actually see the truth. But this fella? No. They say he had a different way of doing things. His house stood where the well is now." Some think that this man is implying that this character and the Shadow Demon are one and the same, since Bongo Bongo was sealed beneath the well. But I'm not so sure. I personally think this statement hints towards the mysterious character who curses the wealthy family into Skulltulas, or possibly a random talented Sheikah inventor with no other significance. But if this mysterious figure are one and the same with Bongo, there's nothing saying he can't be a shape-shifting demon. He does appear invisible and as a large shadow before you ever see his true form, which is monstrously overwhelming. When Link reaches the end of the Shadow Temple, Bongo Bongo lurks inside a hole in the depths of the temple, hitting its bongo like a war drum. Link can only see him through the lens of truth. Its true appearance is a horrific, gigantic, Lovecraftian-like being with one red eye, with its hands disconnected from its body. If you listen carefully, you can hear it singing, almost like a war cry to its drum. Very reminiscent of how the four giants sound in Majora's Mask, only much more sinister. If anyone qualifies to be a possible remnant of the demon tribe, I think the boss of the Shadow Temple, the torture chamber-like temple holding the secrets of Hyrule's bloody history, is a given. Dark Link. He's a little weird to try and theorize about his origins as an ancient demon, because he has several appearances throughout the Zelda series, spanning on all corners of the timeline. I believe that it's confirmed that not all iterations of this character
are meant to be the same individual. Some going by Shadow Link or Link's Shadow, some even having a vague origin that pretty much separates them completely from any of the others. Though his appearance does slightly change from game to game, it seems more like a change to suit the graphic style of the game rather than to differentiate him from other appearances. Either way, he always appears as a dark counterpart to Link, an evil doppelganger, or a mirror version of Link, embodying the darkness inside him, or rather, portraying an opposite characterization of the symbol that Link stands for. He stands clad in Link's tunic, but it's either all black or made out of a transparent shadow, usually peering soullessly with glowing eyes. Dark Link's first appearance was actually all the way back in the 80s on the NES in Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, appearing as the final boss of the game, and he's one of the Zelda series' most difficult final boss battles, if not the most difficult, though he is never described as Ganon's minion in this game. Some theorize he may just be some sort of final test, but there's no clear confirmation about his origin, like most other versions as well. In Ocarina of Time, he may be one of Ganon's lackeys, or at least recruited by him, because he does appear as a mini-boss in the dreaded Water Temple. Link enters a misty glass-like room with a lone tree in the middle, and as he passes the tree, his shadow disappears behind him. When Link turns around, you can see Link's foe waiting patiently by the tree for Link to engage, and Navi gives Link one of the strangest descriptions and analysis in the whole game.
Conquer yourself. Very ominous and barely helpful. No surprise there. Whoa, I'm just kidding, relax. I happen to think that you're very helpful. Anyway, this version of Dark Link is like a carbon copy.
He not only mimics your attacks and pacing, but even mimics the same amount of health that you have when you enter the room. And as the battle ensues, his opacity changes and becomes more solid. And as he does so, he becomes less mirror-like and more aggressive. I do believe that he's a definite candidate for a remnant of the ancient demons though. And here's how. My theory is, as it's suggested that none of these versions of Dark Link are the same, well, it's possible that some are the same, but there's no way to tell. I think rather than Dark Link being a specific demon, that these are simply a type of demon. One that is a doppelganger that takes the form of its adversary. There were many of these demons once upon a time when Demise reigned as the Demon King. Also, in Breath of the Wild, you can acquire a set of armor from the Fang and Bone shop ran by the strange man named Kilton, called the Dark Armor, which is so clearly built in the image of Dark Link. And the hood description reads, "This headgear is a product of Kilton's research into monsters. He crafted it with a monster born from the shadows in mind. The eyes glow an eerie red in the dark." And the trousers read, "The result of Kilton's research in monsters. Looks like your average legwear at first, but it was crafted based on the image of a monster born of darkness." These specifically say that the monster it was based off of was born of shadows and darkness, which to me sounds pretty demonic, and a whole lot like a being born beneath the surface where Demise and his demons came from. And that fateful day they split a piece of the earth and ravaged the goddess and the surface dwellers. And I did notice he was described as a monster, and it is stated in the Zelda Encyclopedia on page 99, in the Monsters and Demons section, that in some eras the term demon and monster have been used interchangeably. So, and the monsters are more or less lackeys of the big bad Demon King, whoever it may be at the time. Dark Link, though, sometimes is in the service of Ganon, but kind of has an independent vibe in most games.
But I think Dark Link, whether his appearances across the Zelda timeline are all different individuals and each one belongs to a certain type of shape-shifting demon race, or there's one Dark Link that's his own agent of evil, meant to be the parallel to the real Link, he's a force to be reckoned with, and definitely qualifies to have possibly originated in the original demon army that rose out of the earth with Demise so long ago. Well, that's my theory on the remnants of the demon tribe, and there are plenty other demonic enemies Link comes across in his adventures, so make sure you look out for part 2 if you like this video. Also, I had to repick the winner for the copy of Creating a Champion because the previous winner did not contact me to claim their prize. So, the new winner is Johnny Black. Congratulations. Please email me at zhyrulefantasy@gmail.com. And please do it soon. It states in the rules that you must contact me with your information in order to receive the prize. Also, I'm still giving away Switch Lite with Breath of the Wild travel case when we reach 1,000 subs, so make sure you like and comment for a chance to win some free stuff. Details will be in the description. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new Zelda content like this. See you later.